The new moon in Virgo on Thursday, September 14th, has an interesting flavor. Ruled by Mercury stationing direct the very next day, it calls us to apply the lessons of the retrograde and build structures that support the new beginnings that we seek. Let's take a closer look and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you'd like to work with me, visit my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. You can also find my magical candles and oils, one of which I'm burning right now. It's Mercury candle to help with the retrograde that's still in the air. And yeah, you can find all my consultations and my creations on my website. And I'm a big advocate, as you know, of my candles because they help me get through the difficult transits, and I want to share them with you. If you like this channel, don't forget to like or comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you feel so inclined, you can also say thank you by buying me a coffee. So one final thing before we start talking about the new moon. I am currently running a Virgo season special, and the coupon codes are down below. It only lasts during Virgo season and applies to every Virgo sons, my lovely Virgo sons. So new moon in Virgo happens at 9:39 p.m. Eastern, and it happens at 21 degrees 58 minutes Virgo, which is basically my natal degree because I'm born in 21 degrees 46 minutes of Virgo with the sun there. So new moons always represent new beginnings, and like I said, this one has a very interesting flavor because Mercury is finishing up the retrograde. So Mercury is already on the way out, right? But it's still retrograde, and it suggests like a new cycle that potentially will be a bit slow to start because the retrograde energy is impacting it, right? It also is a new cycle that will utilize the knowledge of the retrograde, of all the lessons we have learned, of all the mistakes we have faced, right? It can literally be like, today I went to a bar class. If you do bar, let me know down below. People are always like, what bar? Does this mean you go to an actual bar? But it's BARRE, so it's a workout class. And my teacher was like dealing with a lot of Mercury retrograde glitches, trying to set up their new online class system at the same time as she's teaching us in person. She's also teaching live online. So, that could be literally like, okay, what have we learned from all these issues that we faced when we were starting out during the retrograde? So now we can start doing that technical setup, technical process better. It feels like a redo. It feels like a refresh, new beginnings in the Virgo sector of your chart, which I'm going to talk about in a second, right? It requires us to maybe get more clear. Virgo likes lists. As a Virgo, I can confirm. Come up with a plan, come up with a structure, right? Like clean out your space during the new moon or a couple of days before. Declutter, remove everything. Like it's the perfect time to do it, especially with Mercury retrograde. Like look back, as the retrograde tends to urge us to do anyways. Look back at your clothes that you saved up to donate, at your mailbox, right? And just like declutter, get rid of some things, update your resume, delete the emails that you don't need. Think of a structure, think of the knowledge you now have after all the glitches of the retrograde. Please let me know also, how has this Mercury retrograde been for you? For me, I find it kind of messy because it's activating my 12th house, and 12th house is like all the things we don't like looking at. So there's definitely a lot of like, what are these feelings? What do I do? What do I do with all of this? So for Libra risings, this could definitely be a lot more about mental clutter and like coming up with a clear structure around meditation, etc. But more on that in a second. Another significant feature of this new moon is that it opposes Neptune, and Neptune has been forever present in Pisces for the last many years, and so every Virgo has dealt with a strong aspect, an opposition from Neptune. So the opposition to Neptune suggests both a need for a spiritual calling, some kind of spiritual purpose. So it's not like you're just cleaning your space and getting yourself organized for the sake of getting yourself organized. Neptune is saying, okay, what's the larger meaning here? What's the calling you have? How is your well-being will benefit the collective? So deeper questions, right? And of course, as always, Neptune brings up feelings, Neptune brings up fears, Neptune brings up illusions and delusions that we also have to get clear on, right? Like Neptune can make you aware of your spiritual needs. It can make you aware of the fact that it's not just about clearing out your space. It is about clearing your mind, right? It's about having a structure. It's about doing work that serves other people. If you ever feel lost, if you ever feel purposeless, Neptune will be a very good teacher always to kind of help you create purpose, right? As well as building structures around emotions, building structures around fears, around crying, around letting yourself feel things so you're not just robotically organizing. Watch out for, as always, with Virgo energy, watch out for getting stuck in the details, in the perfect plan. You don't have to have things perfect in order for them to be perfectly workable and good for you. So don't get stuck and get organized, get clear, free up your schedule, and take good care of your mental health as well as physical health. This could be, speaking of physical health, Virgo is all about routines. It's all about, I love talking about Virgo, new moons and Virgo seasons, because I live it every day with a little bit of like interruption by my Gemini moon that just sort of jumps up once in a while. A lot of whiles and distracts me, like right now, for example. But yeah, going to doctors, figuring out your diet, getting clear about your exercise routine, clearing your space, clearing your head, bringing good habits is what Virgo is very much about. So once again, Mercury has been retrograde for the last 3 weeks. What have you learned, right? What kind of issues came up for you, and how can you now do better? Because if you don't do better this time around, we're going to get another new moon in Virgo and another Mercury retrograde, and you're going to get a chance to do it all over again. You know, it's like baby steps. Start now. So let's take a look at all 12 rising signs and see what this can be about for you. So if you are an Aries rising, there's a new moon in your 6th house in opposition to Neptune in the 12th house. And here you're looking at your Neptune in the 12th may create a tendency to self-sacrifice, to self-sabotage, to escape, right? To postpone, to procrastinate, to sort of have excuses to not do certain things. So what are the things that you are procrastinating and postponing? Because the new moon in Virgo says that you really need to get organized. You need to organize your schedule. You need to organize your everyday life. You need to organize your fridge to eat better, or your exercise schedule. It's no longer an option to keep telling yourself, I'm going to start tomorrow. Of course, it's always an option, right? I'm not going to be standing above you and telling you what to do. But the new moon in Virgo says, how are you shooting yourself in the foot, and what can you do better? So the new moon in Virgo will potentially encourage you to slowly bring up better exercise habits. Maybe you start to go running a couple of times a week and you try to maintain that so that you can keep doing more, right? And take better care of your body, take better care of your mind. There might be a need to bring better schedule, even change your routines around work, right? Like, how do you let your work spill into your everyday life? And what can you do to make things better? And like, take a look at the Mercury retrograde for the last 3 weeks. Has there been any work breakdowns, any issues in your health, a sense that you need to improve things in your life? Let me know down below. If you are a Taurus rising, the new moon in the 5th house is going to oppose Neptune in the 11th, which is interesting. Neptune in the 11th makes me feel like a certain sense of dissatisfaction with your dreams. Maybe you're questioning your role in the collective. Maybe you're questioning your true desires. Maybe you're comparing yourself to other people, right? 11th house is very much other people, and how do you fit with other people? How do you belong? How do you fulfill the expectations of other people? While the new moon in Virgo is saying, look at yourself. Organize your immediate space. Make sure you have enough joy in your life. Make sure you have clear structures around taking care of yourself, right? The new moon in the 5th house feels like a need to bring, it's almost like calling you to be more structured around the way you have fun, right? Venus has been retrograde and is done being retrograde in your 4th house. So maybe it's the time to kind of like get your creative space organized and, you know, silence the voices of other people and go within, retreat, and make sure you're taking good care of yourself. Maybe you're starting a new creative project. Maybe you're starting to kind of spend more time with your child, or you're becoming pregnant around this time. It's a new moon, like new beginnings in the house of children, right? Or you can also, you know, like if you're someone who's struggling with getting pregnant, for example, this could also be a time to focus your love and your energy on a creative project and sort of commit to, like I said, bringing more joy into your life. Do you feel like there has been a lot of joy in your life? Do you feel like you could use some more? Let me know, Taurus risings, in the comments below. If you are a Gemini rising, there's a new moon in your 4th house in opposition to Neptune in the 10th. And Neptune in the 10th can be a sense of disappointment, disillusionment, frustration, uncertainty when it comes to professional matters. It's getting so dark outside that soon it's going to look like I'm doing a Halloween video. I have a candle. You need like a pumpkin. It's going to be Halloween. It's going to rain in a little bit. It's been so hot in New York, so now it's going to rain, which is exciting. But anyways, so as a Gemini rising, Neptune in your 10th house, right? Big questions for a while at this point of what is inspiring, what is joyful, what is spiritual. And perhaps you've been feeling like it's a bit ambivalent, it's a bit hard to reach, or hard to specify and clarify what is it that you want professionally, or, you know, just like even kind of hard to get there. And as we get this new moon in the 4th house, it is sort of calling you to go back to the beginnings, to the origins of yourself, and maybe consider what brought you joy as a child. Consider what soothes you, what makes you feel soothed. What a word. What makes you feel happy and secure, and like focus on creating a comfortable nest for yourself, so that if you're happy within your home, you can then venture outside and feel supported, right? So the new moon in the 4th house can very much be the time of new beginnings in your home. Maybe you are redecorating, maybe you're renovating, maybe you're selling a home or buying a new property. Maybe you're instigating new relationships with family members, either spending more time with them or perhaps putting up better boundaries. Like there's what has been happening in terms of your living situation in the last 3 weeks with Mercury being retrograde, right? Perhaps you dealt with something in your bathroom that needs to be fixed, like the tile broke or the paint chipped, and the new moon in the 4th house could be very much about improving that, but also finding a better flow in your familial relationship, I'd say. If you are Cancer rising, there's a new moon in your 3rd house in opposition to Neptune in the 9th. Neptune in the 9th can create confusion around your long-term goals, around your desires and your vision and your beliefs, right? Like Neptune in the third can also, if there is some education and you're trying to go back to school, get your PhD, become a teacher, and Neptune in the ninth can create a sense of uncertainty there, as well as uncertainty around legal matters, around publishing, around teachers, right? And the new moon in the third house says that, okay, even if there is uncertainty, what can you do right now, right here, in order to ground yourself, right? Don't think too much about every single, or don't think too much about having every answer right now. Sometimes it's fine to just take it one step at a time. So the new moon in the third really calls you to organize your schedule, to sit down, to write every single step on the list, to maybe get rid of some time wasters. Take a look at the last 3 weeks. What have you learned? Have you had any technology breakdown? Have you had any miscommunications? Maybe the new moon is saying that this is the time to upgrade technology. This is the time to create a better flow and also learn to communicate with more honesty, right? There might be new beginnings in the lives of your siblings, new relationships with siblings or sibling-like figures, an opportunity to upgrade your skill set as well. Once again, if you're kind of craving with Neptune and Saturn in the ninth house, you're craving education, you're craving new beginnings. What are you missing in the here and the now? Do you need to buy the tools? Do you need to talk to people and look at your connections? Do you need to get high-speed internet, right? Do you need to talk to your sibling about taking care of your parents while you're away studying? So a lovely opportunity to clear your agenda and to get more structured in your everyday environment so that your outside aspirations have more freedom to manifest. Let me know how this resonates down below. I'm very proud of this last one. Sometimes it just comes out and it sounds really eloquent, and Venus is still in Leo. I'm just gonna appreciate myself for a second. If you are a Leo rising, there's a new moon in your second house in opposition to Neptune in your eighth house, and here you're looking at your personal finances and values in opposition to those of other people or the debts that you have, right? Like Neptune in the eighth is either created uncertainty, there could be financial matters, right? There could be some kind of debts you owe to people, and the new moon in the second house is urging you to become more structured, to have a plan that every day you're going to set some money aside and it's going to go towards your debt. So financial restructuring can be in order. There could also be Neptune in the eighth can create uncertainty around your partnership and perhaps the desires of your partner, right? Neptune in the eighth can also create confusion around their resources and how willing are they to share with you. Maybe there is some kind of important conversations that need to happen around sharing in the relationship or around kind of connecting and working with other people. I'm just going to turn the light on, so don't be surprised. Ta-da! Let's just make it less bright. Okay. Now it looks like I'm less the Halloween video and more of regular video. So yeah, so financial restructuring could be in order, as well as getting more clear about what you want and trying to get on the same page by having honest conversations, right? If Neptune in the eighth is creating some kind of uncertainty about your business partner or about your romantic partner and what they want, what they need, what they desire, what their kind of future long-term plans are, do not hesitate to talk to them, right? If you've been waiting for something from somebody, this could also be your opportunity to state it and say it out loud. And let me know how this resonates. Do you feel like it's more about financial topics for you, or do you think it could actually be more about getting on the same page with people? If you are a Virgo rising, there's a new moon in your first house, significant, very significant, in opposition to Neptune in the seventh. So here your identity and your goals and your personality, your health, your style get tied to your partnerships, right? And there is a need with Neptune in the seventh, there's a need to get more clear about partnerships because something romantically can be confusing right now. Maybe you don't quite know where you and your partner stand. Maybe they're going through a difficult time. Maybe you are examining your negative tendencies, right? Venus just finished the retrograde in your 12th house of like self-defeating, of self-defeating tendencies, perhaps calling you to examine those. And as a result, you may be bringing new structure to your relationship, right? Like, let's not forget about Saturn in your 7th house. There is a need to be more structured. There is a need to be more serious. And the new moon in the 1st house, to me, especially after how has this Mercury retrograde been for you, right? Mercury has been retrograde in your 1st house for 3 weeks. Have you been questioning your style? Have you been questioning your skincare routine, your communication, what you say and how you say it, right? So like the new moon, a day before Mercury goes direct, is the time to get clear about what you want, and the time to either speak it into existence, or change the way you present yourself, change the way you communicate, change the way you express yourself, take care of yourself in order to bring more stability into your life, right? Like, it's closely tied to relationships, but the relationships change when you change. So that's what this new moon feels like for me, about changing yourself in order to draw in a better, healthier romantic dynamic. And please let me know down below how you resonate with what I said. If you are a Libra rising, my lovely Libra risings, there's a new moon in your 12th house in opposition to Neptune in the 6th house. So Neptune in the 6th can be a bit overwhelming professionally right now. It could create poor boundaries around work. Maybe there's a lot going on. Maybe there's a sense of confusion around work as you question what is it that you want to commit to and dedicate yourself to and work on, right? I know a Libra rising who has been doing a lot of volunteering and kind of helping animal shelters, because 6th house actually represents animals too. So that's something that you might be, like even just the general sort of question of what's spiritual, what's exciting, what's worth your time. But the new moon in the 12th house to me is suggesting that in order to find those answers, you first need to have some quiet time, right? Like the new moon in the 12th is about your mental health. And please let me know how has Mercury retrograde affected you, because I've been feeling all the retrograde action in terms of like subconscious stuff coming up, even like random anxiety without clear reasons coming up, and sort of my mental health really needing attention or wanting me to pay attention to it and like get more organized with my meditation and my spiritual practices and exercise. So as a Virgo 12th house, you can be someone who's like very anal, very organized, very serious with your mental health, right? Like you are someone, especially with this new moon, like it's the time to get even more organized, because if you feel like work is overwhelming, you gotta have strong boundaries. You got to have strong protocols outside of work. You got to have routines that you rely on. So the new moon is very much about, do you need to start therapy up again? Do you need to start meditating? Do you need to start journaling? Like, what is missing in your life in terms of like, what does your mental health need, right? As well as there might be opportunities to use your knowledge to help other people, because 12th house is not just about us. A lot of times it's about healing others and using our knowledge to help others. So both internal shifts, but also external energy of giving back and helping people are strong here for me. And let me know how you resonate with this down below. If you are a Scorpio rising, there's a new moon in your 11th house in opposition to Neptune in the 5th. And Neptune in the 5th, together with Saturn in the 5th, is creating kind of a lot of maybe uncertainty around children. Maybe your child is going through a difficult time. There might be a certain confusion in love, right? There might be confusion when it comes to creative projects and maybe things not moving as quickly or things just being uncertain for the time being. And the new moon in the 11th is asking you to get more clear and get more organized when it comes to your social engagements and when it comes to your dreams and your visions with the knowledge of these changing circumstances, right? If your child, for example, is needing a lot more of your attention, the new moon in the 11th is asking you, how can you restructure your engagements, right? Like what is necessary and what can go potentially. Maybe you also got pregnant with Jupiter in your 7th house, right? And now you need to free up some space, or even change your relationships, because now you're befriending a lot more moms to be and your friendships are changing, right? There might also be opportunities to work with friends and collaborate with friends and maybe connect with people who are more on the same page with you. Even reaching out to people for answers, I can see as like a lovely tool here. And if things feel confusing in your love life right now, or if they feel confusing with your child, do not rush the answers. Instead, try to maybe reach out to people who have some experience in this area, and through it you will build connections and also perhaps find some insights. Yeah, I think I can see I see this new moon as like very crucial for you in terms of building relationships, and even like, it's ruled by Mercury stationing direct, so Mercury standing in one spot, so the energy might take a while to manifest, but planting seeds, right? Like reaching out to people that can help bring your creative vision to life, or it can help your child with the things they're struggling with. It's about making those first steps and being very clear and organized about them, as Virgo would like you to be. Let me know how this resonates down below. If you are a Sag rising, there's a new moon in your 10th house in opposition to Neptune in the 4th. Neptune in the 4th can create a bit of uncertainty when it comes to your living situation. Perhaps you're thinking of moving, but you're not quite sure when. Perhaps you're looking into buying a property or selling a property, but things are taking longer. There might be a bit of a struggle to marry your family life and the demands of the home together with your professional life. So the new moon in the 10th will ask you to be as clear and organized and structured as possible, to perhaps look at the lessons of the last 3 weeks while Mercury was retrograde. Perhaps you had a chance to rethink your career. Maybe you looked back at the previous passions. Maybe you've revisited old projects, right? So the new moon in the 10th house to me is very much about, it's interesting because Mercury is still retrograde, right? Mercury just been retrograde for the last 3 weeks in your 10th house, suggesting some kind of professional attunement and restructuring. Like I said, maybe looking back and connecting with old friends, with old bosses. So this new moon is a result of that. It's a result of that, like rethinking, and it's an opportunity to start fresh professionally, right? Don't let the confusion connected to home and family to stop you, but try to move slowly so that you're not kind of sacrificing one part of your life for the other. And hopefully these new beginnings bring something exciting into your professional life and will allow you to balance home and family better. And if you're not someone who's actively working, this could also be about your role in the world, what you're known for, right? Like what you do when you go outside your home and your passions as well. Let me know how this resonates down below. If you are a Capricorn rising, there's a new moon in the 9th house in opposition to Neptune in the 3rd. So Neptune in the 3rd can create a sense of fogginess around communication, around all of the fine details of things. If you're negotiating something, it could bring up 3rd house to me is very very much a place of bureaucracy where you're dealing with people. There's a lot of moving parts, so things might be moving rather slowly. Maybe there's confusion around scheduling. Maybe there's confusion around sibling matters. And the new moon in the 9th is really bringing your attention to the bigger picture. So it's kind of calling you to focus on your beliefs and your philosophies, and it can sort of encourage you to maybe rethink your beliefs, right? We just had Mercury retrograde in your 9th house, potentially making you feel like some relationships, some ideas, some goals are outdated and they need to be replaced by something new. So I think if you feel, let's say Neptune in the 3rd creates a sense of dissatisfaction with your relationship with a sibling, perhaps a change is in order in the way you relate to things, or in the way you approach the situation with the new moon in the 9th house. Perhaps it's the time for you to kind of experience a mindset shift and get more aware of what you want or how you present yourself. The new moon in the 9th house can also bring opportunities to maybe start a legal case or complete a legal case, to start writing. You can always take the confusion of the 3rd house and use it as like creative inspiration potentially, or spiritual inspiration. Use the uncertainty you're facing to fuel your writing genius, for example. So the new moon in the 9th, like I said, could bring spiritual change. It can also bring opportunities to travel, to write, to publish, to deal with legal matters. But I think very much, to me, there's a need to get clear about what you want and to have a plan of how you want to get there. Like if you want to write a book, but you're waiting for a really long time to hear from someone, right? Come up with a plan, right? A plan, brainstorm other people you know, brainstorm solutions. Be very Virgo about Neptunian confusing topics, and trust that with time, this cobweb or this confusing energy will unravel and clear up. And let me know how this resonates in the comments below. If you are an Aquarius rising, there's a new moon in your 8th house in opposition to Neptune in the 2nd house. And you're addressing confusion around resources, around debts, taxes, finances, and coming up with clear structures, right? Neptune in the 2nd house, to me, feels maybe there is a lack of clarity when it comes to your pay, right? Maybe you feel like it's time to ask for more money, but you feel doubtful, fearful, uncertain of what you're going to get. What are you going to hear from your bosses? So, and then the new moon in the 8th is saying you cannot hide from this. You need the resources, you need the money in order to make things happen, right? Maybe with the new moon in the 8th house, you're getting a mortgage or you're asking someone for a loan. And it's interesting because like Neptune in the 8th can also make a sense, like there could be a sense that you don't have what it takes, or you don't have enough to offer to somebody else to start a partnership with them. So needing to take responsibility for your financial matters, needing to get more structured about paying off debts, right? Consult a financial advisor, sort of get very responsible and serious and take action when it comes to finances, as well as perhaps have some uncomfortable conversations and discuss things so that you are on the same page with people, especially if you feel that there has been a lack of fairness or there has been a lack of understanding between you and the other person. You may have to do some negotiating when it comes to getting a mortgage or a scholarship, do some applying, kind of like I said, Virgo really wants you to be structured and detailed and perfect, or at least perfection oriented. Perfection is impossible, but like try to be as clear as you can be. And let me know how this resonates. What has been happening in your financial life in the last few weeks? Or even before that, because Mars has been in Virgo for a while before then, so the last couple of months. If you are a Pisces rising, there's a new moon in your 7th house in opposition to Neptune in the 1st house. So this is interesting, right? Neptune in the 1st house can create a sense of uncertainty over your life path and where you're trying to go and who you want to be and how you see yourself. It can also bring up certain self-defeating tendencies, right? Do you tend to say yes to everything? Do you tend to sacrifice your needs for the needs of your partner? And the partner could be any kind of relationship, right? If you're single right now, the new moon in the 7th house could represent your relationship with your work spouse or your friend or your mother, if your mother serves as your spouse, for example. So very much a need to examine your self-defeating tendencies or escapist tendencies, or maybe your fears and how they affect your relationship, I feel like. Because the new moon in the 7th can also bring new opportunities romantically if you're single. It could mean that over the course of the next 6 months or so, you will get opportunities to date, or you will get opportunities to move your relationship to the next level. Not necessarily going to be fast, because Mercury, the ruler of this new moon, is kind of standing in one spot at the time of the new moon. It's celebrating my birthday on the 15th. It's like, gotta move slowly. But yes, rethinking relationships. Let me know also, how has the last 3 weeks been for you? Mercury has been retrograde since, August 23rd, right? And until September 15th. So for a while, have you faced any miscommunications, any romantic confusion? Have you been questioning what you want? Are you on the same page with your partner? Because this new moon is very much the restart, refresh, getting more clear, being more honest, communicating better, addressing challenges in relationship, and moving things forward. So I hope you have a great new moon. I hope Mercury retrograde has been good. Definitely let me know down below what happened in your life. I love hearing from you guys, and I try to respond to as many comments as I can. And I'll talk to you in the next video. I'll see you soon. Bye.